All right, well, what is going on, you guys? The only real way to start doing this is just to turn the cameras on and start talking to you guys about what we need to talk about today. As y'all saw in the title of the video, we're gonna be talking about what ATV mud tires you need for your four-wheeler. I've gotten countless questions on the channel about what tire you should run on your four-wheeler, especially the Honda Rancher 420 probably being the most popular question asked, just because, you know, it's not a surprise. The 420 Rancher is like one of the most popular four-wheelers out there. Yeah, though, that's one of the main four-wheelers we'll be talking about today. I'm gonna try and discuss as many four-wheelers as possible. I can't, you know, obviously cover all of them. I'm gonna try and cover the main popular four-wheelers that a lot of you guys probably have, and I'm gonna try and tell you guys as much as I can about ATV mud tires. I've been obsessed with them for the longest. If I get to talking to somebody about mud tires, we could pretty much talk for hours on end about them. So yeah, guys, I know the struggle of finding the right ATV mud tire to use, especially whenever you have a smaller engine like a 420. Whenever I was growing up, I spent countless hours watching different YouTube videos of folks comparing different tires in the mud.
Today, we're testing out the Mega Mayhems. We'll see how they compare. Looks pretty beefy. No. Mayhems, you need the four-wheel drive. Yeah, that proves it. These tires are better for the mud.
And yeah, I hope that I can share some knowledge with you guys today to figure out what tires you should get for your four-wheeler. To start it off, we're going to discuss the different types of mud tires out there. Some that I have on my list so far for the less aggressive mud tires. These tires are the tires that you can ride on the trails and play in the mud in. They're not going to put too much of a strain on your four-wheeler. They're not going to have, you know, insane lugs. And, you know, just they're going to be a lot easier to spin also. They're going to be nice and lightweight too. Zillas, Mud Lights, Swamp Witches, different tires like those are, you know, great all-around tires that are, you know, great on the trails and in the mud, and like I said, you know, aren't just a huge strain on your four-wheeler. And then we're going to move on to the more aggressive mud tires. This is where your Silverbacks come into play, your AZTECs, Outlaw 2s, your Outlaws, Moto Havocs, BKTs, Outlaw 3s, Terminators, Sludgehammers, you know, Mudzillas. The list goes on and on. But those are just some tires that'll kind of give you an idea of what, you know, just a aggressive mud tire is. And then we can move on to the extreme mud tires, and those consist of the Assassinators, you know, Black Mambas, 32-inch Silverback. I would definitely consider that as an extreme mud tire. The Silverback MT2, and really, you know, any tire 32 inches and above is an extreme mud tire in my opinion also. So, you know, the tires that would be considered just an aggressive mud tire, like I said, you know, such as like a Silverback or an AZTEC or, you know, Outlaw 3s, all of those tires, once they get, you know, up above the 32-inch size, I think they're kind of considered an extreme mud tire just because of the sheer size that they have now. But the main characteristics that make an extreme mud tire what it is the weight, and then the lug height and just the size, you know, of the lug. Like, for example, the Black Mambas are like an insane amount of weight per tire. They're very known for just being insanely heavy.
Around here looking for the new species of ATV tire called the Black Mamba. Here's one now. This is a huge, very aggressive ATV tire. Just look at the size of those huge, deep lugs. And right here you can see just how far they extend to the side, making for massive grip in any kind of mud terrain. This baby is 27 inches tall and it weighs at least 50 pounds. This is only for the largest, most powerful ATVs out there. Just look at that beautiful tread pattern. Whoa, she's moving. Got to try to get back. Crikey, she's coming right at me. Give me. Give me. It got me. It got me. Definitely got me.
The three categories that I have them split up in is just the little ATVs like the 250 Recons, and you know, just the four-wheelers that are just two-wheel drive. And then in the second category, we're going to have the mid-size ATVs like the Honda Ranchers, you know, Honda Rubicons, like an Outlander 450, maybe even a 570 can be placed in this category. You know, the Sportsman 450. All of those four-wheelers. And then in the third class, we're going to have the larger ATVs. I'd probably say like 650 and up. So if you have a 250 Recon or a two-wheel drive little four-wheeler, recommend just throwing a small set of the less aggressive mud tires in the rear. Whenever I was growing up, I had a Honda 250 Recon with mud lights in the back. I'm not sure exactly what size they were, but I know that thing ate. I know that it made it through Covington Pike bottoms, which is very impressive for a two-wheel drive four-wheeler. So it doesn't take much to make those little four-wheelers move. I really just recommend, throwing some Zillas or Mud Lights, or I'm sure Swamp Witches, they make a size that small too, I'm sure. But just a tire like that is what I would do, just throw them in the rear. And then I just left my front stock, just to help keep the four-wheeler moving. Y'all be quiet. Libby. All right, in our second category for you guys on the 420 Ranchers and the other Hondas and 450s and stuff like that, I would recommend on a stock Honda Rancher, and we're just gonna be really talking about the manual shift Hondas, because the automatics are geared a good bit higher, which means they can't spin, as large of tires. But yeah, though, I have, the manual shift. I have electric shift Rancher, and I felt that without an exhaust and optimizer, with it just being completely stock, I could pretty much spin, I'd say the limit is around 27 inches and under. So I'll recommend like a 27-inch, Zilla or Mega Mayhem or something like that, and under if you don't have any power mod. And then with an aftermarket exhaust and optimizer, I had the HMF Performance Series exhaust and then the HMF optimizer, and I was actually like able to wheelie on 30-inch Zillas. Got a big Caterpillar on me. So yeah, with an exhaust and optimizer on, I'd say you can spin up to a 30-inch, less aggressive tire like a Zilla, because they're 25 pounds a piece for the skinnies and 30 pounds a piece for the wides, which is just absolutely insane. I absolutely just love that setup. But if you're gonna get into a more aggressive tire, I would say the limit is 28 inches if you just have an exhaust and optimizer. And then after that, if you're wanting to go larger, I recommend getting at least a 35% gear reduction. So basically, I'd say with a 35% gear reduction, you can run up to a 30-inch legit mud tire or a 31-inch Outlaw, Outlaw 1, all skinnies is what I would run. But yeah, that's what I've, kind of figured out with mine. My Honda Rancher with the 35% gear reduction did great, spending 30-inch Silverbacks and 29.5-inch Outlaw 3s, but it's struggling a lot with the 32-inch AZTECs. Not a lot, but it's definitely struggling. Like, for example, I got into some thick stuff at Covington Pike, and it did not want to spin them. Tried to run the 30-inch Silverbacks with just the exhaust and optimizer, and it did spin them, but it just did not spin them like it should be spinning them. If that makes any sense. The machine was definitely just bogging down a lot if it got into any thick stuff. So yeah, I do not recommend any like legit mud tires. You're just running the exhaust and optimizer. I would recommend running the 35% gear reduction for up to 31s, and then once you get into 32 or assassinators, but yeah, once you get into the more extreme mud tires on the Hondas, I do recommend putting on 53% gear reduction or 60%, whatever they have these days. See, on the 450s and 570s, pretty similar to the Hondas, I would just stick with 28 and an aggressive mud tire, and then like a 30-inch, less aggressive mud tire is kind of your limit without any, real upgrades. But the exhaust and optimizer helps out so much on those machines also. But once you get into those more aggressive mud tires or, 32s and above, I would recommend clutching to those machines. So just, upgrade the primary clutch. And then, yeah, this is a really hard video to make. It's just me rambling, kind of. There's not really any way you can kind of set it up. You just gotta ramble about you guys on your high lifter edition 850s and 1Ks. Y'all really don't have much to worry about until y'all get into like some 34s and up. Really, y'all can pretty much run any tire y'all want to, especially if you put that exhaust and optimizer on. Definitely recommend just throw an exhaust and optimizer on like any machine you get, because it just helps out so much. All right, now we can talk about the Can-Ams. So basically in the Can-Ams, the 1000 XMRs do have a gear reduction. Those are the only models that do. And on those models, I'll just get those out of the way real quick. With that gear reduction that they do come with, I do think that you can get away with running 32-inch aggressive mud tire, like a 32-inch, Assassinator, with just throwing an exhaust and optimizer on there, you know, or a tune, whichever you guys are doing. But I recommend, you know, a programmer myself. I got mine flashed, you know, for $100, and I do recommend doing so. I think that the programmer just makes them run, you know, perfectly. But yeah, though, I think that the 32-inch tires, you can get away with those on the XMR 1000s that do have the gear reduction on them. But on all the other models that don't have a gear reduction, like, you know, the 850s and 1000s that don't, like, for example, my bike, I think that your limit is a, you know, up to a 31-inch aggressive mud tire. Like, for example, on my machine, I felt that the 29.5-inch Outlaw 3s did phenomenal with just the exhaust on there. I actually didn't have a flash on there yet. I was just running the exhaust, which was not smart to do. But anyways, the machine didn't struggle really at all spinning them. Feel that I needed a primary clutch or anything like that. But after those tires, whenever I got the boggers and the assassinators that I have on now, the all-white assassinators, I feel the machine does need a clutch upgrade with those tires. And, you know, like, for example, the boggers also, I felt like with the weight of them. So I think that after the 31, once you get into the 32s and above, I think that you should do a primary clutch. There are some exceptions. I think that, you know, maybe if I had the 32-inch AZTECs on, I mean, they might do great without having a clutch upgrade just because they're so lightweight. So there are some exceptions, but in general, I do recommend upgrading that clutch if you're planning on going 32s and above. Whenever I'm saying clutch upgrade, I'm saying upgrading primary clutch to it. You can also upgrade the secondary clutch if you're wanting to have your machine set up perfectly and allow it to just spin tires. Great, not have any issues doing so. They are very expensive upgrades because they do so well. But yeah, though, I don't know. Let me think of some four-wheelers. A 750 brute force up to like 30s of an aggressive mud tire with just an exhaust, an optimizer. And then you'd have to, I think you can just like really upgrade the clutch springs. You can do like a clutch kit on the brute forces, but you need to do a clutch kit if you're wanting to go above 31s on the brute forces also. So they kind of all correlate. You just have to do different upgrades for, you know, different four-wheelers. If you're on a Honda, you're gonna have to just do bigger gear reductions for the bigger tire that you want to do. But yeah, with these upgrades, you just have to take into account what it does to your four-wheeler. If you're getting a gear reduction on a Honda, it is gonna, you know, slow your four-wheeler down a lot. And then on the machines that you upgrade the clutching on, it makes the stall of your clutch longer, so basically just makes it longer till your clutch engages. It just lets your RPMs get up until it actually engages the clutch. So whenever it does engaging at higher RPMs, which means just a lot more power out the hole, but it's not going to be anywhere near as smooth as if you're just, you know, running stock clutching. So you got to think about those things. Yeah, with saying all of this, I guess I can just talk about my experience and how, you know, I feel about getting a gear reduction on my Honda and everything. In my opinion, the Honda was the most fun with no gear reduction and just running the HMF exhaust and optimizer, the 30-inch Zillas. I had all of my speed still. I could wheelie it, which is awesome, and that says a lot for me being 120 pounds soaking wet, you know, whenever I was wheeling Honda. And yeah, the only real reason I got the gear reduction done was just to test different mud tires for you guys on the channel. If I wasn't doing the YouTube channel, I would just be walking on everybody with the 30-inch Zillas, to be honest. the tires that I ran after I got the gear reduction on my Honda. Silverbacks were probably just like all around my favorite. They did perfect with 35%. They dug great and they pulled at the same time. Whereas the Outlaw 3s, I felt dug a lot more, so they did just terrible. On a straight axle machine is what I think, you know, is the culprit of that. You know, I think that the Outlaw 3s just dig too much, and if you don't have, you know, room to dig with just that straight axle back there, it's no bueno, no good at all. And that's why I think that they excelled on the Outlander, because I had, you know, the IRS and it was a little bit heavier machine, so just let those Outlaw 3s, you know, do their thing in the holes, but just got the Honda hung up. So Outlaw 3s were my least favorite on the Honda, and then 32-inch AZTECs are, you know, the most walking tire on the Honda so far. With that 35% gear reduction, I don't recommend them, you know, just because of how large they are. The 420, you know, struggles a bit, you know, whenever it gets in the thick stuff. So that's the best tire I've ran so far, just walking wise. The thing just basically like does not get stuck right now the way it's sitting with those 32-inch AZTECs. And yeah, I don't know. This has been a long rant. Talked like a lot about the different subjects. We're going on 35 minutes right now. I don't know. Hopefully I've covered a good amount. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this informative video. Hope y'all learned everything you needed to know. Gotten, you know, a lot of comments, like I said, from you guys. So I hope this, you know, answered all of y'all's questions. If you have any more questions that are, you know, nice and specific, be sure to comment them down below, and I'll do my best to answer all of them for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Can't thank you enough for all the support as always. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, comment on her, share with all your buddies, and I'll see you guys in the next one.